everybody, and welcome.
Oh, we're actually in. Okay.
Yeah, we are on. Please let us know immediately if there's any audio issues, which there definitely should not.
We already have 4 watching.
Be?
That's a lot of people.
Wow.
That's a lot
Thank
of people
you.
For first starting
We do have
off.
4?
Yeah. That's
Oh,
what
I
this
forget.
says.
Yeah,
That's
no,
wrong.
you're right. Yeah. Sometimes the software that we use just really pisses me off. I'm one of your hosts, Sean Monk, by the way.
I'm your other host, TJ Cornwell, and welcome back to Planet Film Live.
Yeah, welcome back to Planet Film Live. Today, we are going to be talking a little James Bond, a little 007 action.
Okay, sorry, I just wanted to check this. I like to make sure.
I think we'll probably be doing a little, what do we call it? Buffalo Blitz? Bills Blitz?
Yep, Bills Blitz, whatever you want to call it.
Well, NFL talk. It was a little eventful in Missouri this weekend.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about that first?
Couple delays. Yeah, sure. Why
Okay.
not?
So you watched the game?
I did watch the game. I did not watch them just out of not trying though. I know you know.
No, I know. Yeah.
I had to. Let's just put it this way: work has been so complicated with the football season. I had to basically request off.
Yeah.
Just to watch the game.
Yeah.
Which is so annoying.
I've also noticed, like, with football back,
Mhm.
like I feel like I'd come to the show every week. I'd be like, oh, I watched 3-4 things, you know.
Yeah.
With football, my Sundays is gone. Like, I don't watch any like movies or anything. So
Mhm.
like all I have is like maybe a Saturday, but I've been starting to do things a lot more. So like my Saturdays are usually gone. So I literally only have like maybe half a day or something.
Do you think you're doing things more just because you're at a freer point in your life, or because COVID is opening back up again?
I don't know, because like one of my really good friends is leaving. He's moving to Florida in
okay.
beginning of November.
Getting in some memes. Little
Yeah,
memory
so kind of
action.
like that, but I'm also
Yeah.
just trying to. The past few years, I have not been a very like person to go out.
Mhm.
Like, it was more of like, oh, you want to go do this, and I'm like, no, I
Yeah.
don't want to do that. And it's more just because I just did not want to go. Like, not even. This is before COVID.
Yeah, trying to be a little more of a
It's
yes
just
man.
like homebody kind of like that. But
Yeah.
over the past few months, I've been trying to do more and more stuff. And in August when Danielle was working and there was no football, so like maybe I'd go out like one
Mhm.
day and then I'd literally be alone Sunday. And
Yeah.
I'd just be watching like movies while I was doing laundry or something like that.
Yeah.
But obviously I haven't really had time to do that. But again, talking about the Bills game on
Go
Sunday.
Bills.
I don't know about you. I was very nervous.
I don't know about you, but Kansas City's feeling 22. Right? I know.
22? What?
They didn't like the Taylor Swift song.
Yeah, but why are they feeling like 22? It
Well,
doesn't
they
make
got
sense.
like, didn't they get like 20?
They got
points?
20 points.
Yeah, so
close.
it was close enough. Yeah.
But yeah, I was nervous going in.
Mhm.
Wasn't sure if we were gonna win. AFC Championship last year, we were
Rematch.
not the most competitive team against them.
Mm-hmm.
And this year, obviously, I've been talking about it, and I said it the first week of the season. After the first week, I was like, if we go into Kansas City, if we're 2-2, 1-3, I will be very nervous.
Yeah.
Coming
Coming out of Kansas City 4-1.
Coming out of Kansas City 4-1, I could not ask for better. Actually, I could. I could ask for 5-0. But again, that's Steelers.
Wasn't that the Steelers?
That's right,
Steelers,
which will probably just live in infamy. I don't know
Mhm.
what that game was. But I am very happy, obviously, with the result. I thought we went in there, handled our business. They had no like really big plays off of us. I don't know, because I know you watched the game with Brandon Travis.
Yeah.
There were some of these referee calls. I don't know. I was like, I don't know what game they're watching. Like the Ed Oliver roughing the passer,
Mhm.
where he basically got pushed into Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know what you want him to do there.
Not to mention, there was one call that somebody on, well, there was that, like, BS calls against us, but then also, like, nothing was going against Kansas City. Like,
it was just like, well, they had the one roughing the passer call where Josh Allen kind of threw it up because we were backed up in our own zone, and he threw it up and it was a pick, but they called roughing the passer, and then we drove down the field, got a touchdown. That's the drive where Josh hurled like one of the cornerbacks, and that was done from there. But even that was a penalty. But like even like there was like multiple holding calls where if it's the other team is on offense and there's a holding call, immediately you think, oh, it's on them. They're bringing it back 10 yards. It was like every holding call was on us, and we were on defense. I'm like, how are we holding? Like, and there was the pass interference on Travis Kelce from Trey White, which I don't know. Like, Trey White is not pushing over Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce's like, I don't know, 250, 260. Trey White's 190 maybe or something. Or, actually, 250, 260 might be a little too high. 230, 240, somewhere in there. Yeah. Big guy. And he's just, I don't know. But, like, I thought the refs had a terrible game. Chris Collinsworth might have been worse than the refs.
There were some people that knew even less about football than me watching that. Like, my roommate, for example. Yeah. She was watching. She thought she was gonna like head out like around halftime, but she ended up staying for like the whole game. Yeah. And even she was like, I mean, granted, all people in the room were like, "This is ridiculous," but like even she was like, she's like, "What the hell is this?" Like the freaking commentators were just like, Allen's looking good tonight. Not like almost getting up to the level of Mahomes. It's like he's not Jesus. Yeah. Like everybody was like, if I can say a quick obscenity, everyone was like, working on Mahomes all night. Oh, yeah. On the payroll.
And I was talking to Brandon last night, and we were talking about the one where it was like right before he throws one of the TDs to Emmanuel Sanders, and Chris Collinsworth is like, he's like, oh, I don't know, MVP. Like, I feel like, and then he throws the TD. It's like, oh, well, he's MVP. It's like, just give him, like, if Chris Collinsworth found it so hard, no matter how bad the Bills were dominating the Chiefs, which they were, almost the entire game. Yeah. Like, defensively, at least. Like, the only, in my opinion, like, if not for any of those penalties, like, the Chiefs maybe walk out of the first half with 3 points. Like, one of their penalties, I think, one of the penalties on us was, like, a jump start for a drive. And, like, there was a few third downs where if they don't get a penalty, they're punting. So, like, I just, but he was the most, like, usually I listen, like, when I watch Sunday night games, I don't notice it. Maybe it's because it's not my team. Yeah. And then when he gets the Bills, he's just, like, insufferably all over the Chiefs. Like, oh, Chiefs so good, Patrick, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, they're not good. Like, their offense is obviously good, but their defense is terrible.
It's like a reversal of last year. Yeah.
And their defense was, I don't really recall last year. I think their defense was pretty good last year. Like, it wasn't what it is this year. Yeah. But it was just like, between that and the weather delay, I was like, oh my God. Like,
yeah, I had work at 9 a.m. the next morning.
Oh,
it was real bad.
Brutal. Yeah. And I was like, we were screaming at the TV. Like, when that hurdle, I was like, when he hurdled the player, I was like,
Josh Allen.
I was like, it's over.
He was to quote the internet. He was on some X Games mode.
He was
like he was jumping over men, full grown 6 foot tall men. Right. Like he was freaking. Oh my God.
And after that game, like, I feel like I'm still riding that high. Like, I'm probably gonna ride that high until Monday night when we face the Titans. Yeah. And then we have the bye after that. So if we can go through this into the bye 5-1, and then we have the Jets, we have the Jags, we have
all people that we can beat.
The Dolphins. Yeah, like, we have, I think, one of, if not the easiest schedule, like, in totality. Like, our next challenge, which
you said probably would be like the Bucks, right?
Yeah, but after watching the Monday night game, maybe the Colts. Because the Colts, like, actually put up a fight against the Ravens. Because they're 1-3, but I guess they've had, like, a really hard schedule up until this point. The Saints, maybe. But I think, like, the best team that we face for the rest of the season would be the Buccaneers. Who are obviously defending Super Bowl champs. And maybe we'd see if we make it to the Super Bowl.
Tom Brady got a shout out, 43 years old.
But, like, I am very high on this team. All week, everybody have been they're top 5 team, if not the best team in the whole league. A lot of people have been saying.
Okay, do you know? Because I'm not the best with names, but like, who are the 2 people that started talking after the game? The blonde woman and the man.
Oh, that would be. Was he also blonde? He had short hair.
I think.
I don't know her name, But the other guy is Chris Sims. He like loves Josh Allen. He's big on Josh Allen.
Come on. Okay, because I was gonna say I don't know who that guy was, but I was like, he's on national TV like after show, and he said he was like, because
he didn't pick us.
But then after the question was, it was like, do you think that the Bills? Do you think the conversation could be had about the Bills being number one in the AFC East? And he was like, I think they're clearly number one in the whole AFC, maybe even the whole NFL.
They're clearly as the week has gone on, people have come more to the fact where, and again, this defense like has not gotten the credit it deserves.
Doubting us.
The defense is like way better than the offense is right now. Like the defense is what the offense was last year, where obviously we shut out two teams that are not very good, but it's still the NFL. Like nobody in the league is bad. Like they all are playing in the NFL for a reason.
No, exactly. Yeah, it's not like we went and like we were like.
We
got beaten by like the UB Bulls.
UB, exactly,
like
you know what I mean,
like
or any college team for that matter.
Even the Fighting Irish. Josh Allen,
MVP. Yeah, Nickelodeon. I think it's Nickelodeon.
Really?
Yeah, Nickelodeon started last year. I think it was the Thanksgiving game. They started because they broadcast. Oh no! It was a wild card game they broadcast last year.
Yeah,
and they gave out the MVP award, which I think is like Nickelodeon's most valuable player. And now they're doing it weekly, and Josh Allen just won it for this week, which is cool.
Put him on iCarly. Right?
Yeah. But yeah, it's kind of weird to say here and be like, oh yeah, Buffalo number one team in the league. I
think we're in the discussion for top 3 at least.
No, that's not a question.
Oh,
We're definitely top 3 team in the league because it's just.
But it's really just us and the Bucks, right?
No, the Chargers are very good. Chargers are very good.
Can I talk about for a second the Chargers end zones really were messing me up. Those are maybe the ugliest end zones that I've seen because they showed in the big delay they were just showing clips from every game.
Yeah.
And so we started talking about the end zone designs, and they got to the Bengals, and I was like, oh, that's awesome. Like it's vibrant. The freaking LA one looks like somebody threw up on the field. It's like a more teal than your sweatshirt in the bright sunlight with bright yellow letters. It's like you don't even want to look at it. I was like, and then I think Brandon was like, it used to be a much darker blue, and it was like, it was a better like color scheme. I was like, who is designing these freaking teams?
I don't know if you've seen the Rams jerseys.
Not recently.
They're terrible.
Are they new?
They're kind of new, I think. They might have worn them last year.
Yeah.
But Danielle pointed it out a week or two ago. They're like white and like very dark blue, like that Red Bull can blue. But the numbers on them are like a weird material. Like it's like a almost kind of plasticky looking, like you can kind of peel it off material. They just look like garbage.
Gross.
The Bills uniforms, on the other hand, look
the Bills uniforms were great. The all white versus the all red was really, really cool.
Yeah. But yeah, I just hate to I'm like in my head, I'm like, oh, we beat the Chiefs. I personally think we're gonna beat the Titans.
I don't think it's a problem to be on.
But I don't want to. It's only week 5. Again, it's only going to week 6.
It's only week 5, but when it's only week 5 and you've only lost 1.
That's also been something that's been thrown around. Some people are like, well, remember they still lost week 1. It's like, okay, have you seen the difference in the team from week 1 to every other week?
Yeah, I mean, we were sitting here saying after week 1, we were like, oh, what about Josh?
I was nervous. I was like, Josh Allen played like garbage. The defense was good,
and then it was just like
looked like trash.
It was like the TikTok thing of like the psych, and you know what I mean? It's like a whole other team.
Yeah, and the offense still is not what it was last year. Like Stephon Diggs is not. We haven't really not to say we haven't needed him, but he just hasn't gotten the ball like he did last year. Like we're going a lot of Dawson Knox, Emmanuel Sanders. We could definitely run the ball better than we did last year. But yeah, I'm pretty hyped right now. I'm not gonna lie. I wish I could say the same thing for the Sabres, even though I haven't watched hockey in a long time.
Well, this is an announcement right here. You don't know this.
Okay.
But my good friend from high school is actually Jordan Poyer's personal assistant. So we have a freaking message from Jordan Poyer about. I just kidding. Could you imagine? I just thought of the most like
most ridiculous.
the player that I could most likely get. Like I was like, I like a mid-tier guy, but like still.
Yeah.
Him and I think Micah Hyde was because we were all talking about the game, so we were all watching a whole bunch of the after stuff. Like, I think him and Micah Hyde did like a 15-minute, like, or at least that's who they were showing for like 15 minutes after the game. Those two are great. Like, they're really good, like, talkers, like communicators about what happened with the game, though. Because I was like, sometimes you don't know, like, you just have send a football. Like, sometimes
they're assholes.
Yeah, you don't send Gronk out to do that.
No, yeah.
We did the football was good.
He's just a jokester, man.
Gronk
is just like he just has the personality of any like kind of frat boy. I feel like.
Well, it's like, I feel like Gronk in another life would have been like if the Impractical Jokers were based in Buffalo. Like that's what Rob Gronkowski would have been doing in Buffalo. Right. Like that's just it.
But yeah, I think like if I were to name like top 5 teams off the top of my head, no like particular order in the league right now, it'd probably be like Bills, Bucks, Chargers, Rams,
and Colts, maybe.
No, not the Colts. The Colts are one.
Right.
Now, probably maybe. No, I don't want to say the Ravens. I don't know. Maybe the Cardinals. The Cardinals are 5-0. So probably the Cardinals.
Oh my God.
But I think collectively, like the Bills are. Defense, offense, special teams, the best team together.
The Bills, like if you put the Bills up against anyone else versus all the others up against anyone else, the Bills would probably have the highest percentage chance of winning any of those games.
Probably. Just because, again, I think the defense is just, I don't know. Like, they're definitely much better than they were last year. Not that they couldn't stop anybody last year, but they didn't make those, I feel like they didn't make those timely plays all the time. And, I don't know. We always just seemed a little bit more vulnerable.
Although I will say, too, I feel like in the past it was one of those things where it was like, we would, like kind of we talked about last week, where it's like, we kind of have to get down and then, everybody rallies around Josh Allen and stuff.
I had said this to Brandon last night. I was like, I feel like the Steelers' loss was the same thing as the Cardinals' loss last year. Where we lost, and then we went on like a 10-12 game run.
Yeah, which we're still on right now.
Yeah. So maybe we needed that loss. And I don't know. Maybe,
I think it's just one of those things where it's just like, and they know one loss, especially if it's week one, it isn't going to hurt the team. As long as you correct from that momentum, which obviously they have.
I mean, we have the division on lock and key right now. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
Like we're winning the division.
You heard it here first, folks. Super Bowl champs.
The biggest thing to get is the conference as a whole. The only problem is like we already have the reason we're in third in the conference is because we have one loss in the conference, and the Chargers and the Ravens, who are above us, have no losses, I believe, in the conference. Because I don't even remember who the Ravens lost to, but the Chargers lost to the Cowboys, who are in the NFC, and the Ravens.
Do you think this, just in general, do you think that the Bills being this good and this successful like path that we have, do you think it just pisses Roger Goodell off?
No, I don't think so. Why would it?
Well, because there's like what's his name, Vince McMahon. Like sometimes when things go not the way they're planned, he like very famously, like, there's a ton of stories about him just being like pissed and like meddling with things. I just wonder if that, although then again, the NFL is like a legally regulated like league, you know what I mean? Whereas like WWE is a little more like it's just whatever Vince McMahon wants to do,
storylines and everything. No, I think it's really good for like the NFL. There's a lot of good teams this year, and I think it's really good for like the city as a whole because if they win, this city's gonna burn to the ground.
Who do you think's winning the mayoral election? Planet Politics. Who's winning it? Byron Brown or India?
Oh, I don't know. I heard that he was like what was it? He like or not. I don't think this is true, but like her car got impounded or something. And
I saw something like
she was like, he's coming after me.
Yeah.
I'll be
honest.
Which
you
like,
can't
prove. Being full disclosure, like I literally have no idea about either of them. So,
the full context I have, I was not myself in the hospital, but I was in a hospital waiting room this past week at 6 a.m. and I was watching the local news, and it was the first time I had seen. I mean, I knew about what was happening, like that he lost in the primary, but basically like didn't stop campaigning.
Yeah, what happened with that? She didn't.
He lost in the primary, and he's campaigning on a write-in. just for people to write his name in.
Oh.
Because she should have won. Like she would. Like she beat him in the primary.
So he's just coming,
out of left field.
So basically, it's like this person. If you want to write somebody in, there he is. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and like the second person is like a nothing burger. So it's really still just between the two of them.
Okay.
Like that's why if you look at all the Byron Brown posters and stuff, it always says like write down Brown.
Yeah.
Yeah, write down Brown or whatever,
Gotcha.
or write down Byron Brown or something. Which like I mean, whatever. I mean, I know obviously Buffalo had some bad news for sure this time last year with. Everything that was going on in the country with what happened here with that older gentleman.
Old guy,
yeah. So that's not a good look for the current mayor. And also it's been like 4 terms. Like,
Yeah.
I think you could probably move on.
Okay. As much as I love talking about that, we'll have to talk. I'm going to talk about the movie that I watched last night with Danielle real quick, or 2 nights ago. But we have to talk about Ted Lasso because we have not talked about it.
Oh, it's in the it's in the
notes and everything.
No, it's in the. Right there, my guy. Hashtag Ted Lasso.
Oh, okay. Well,
that was our secondary main topic.
Oh, okay. Let me talk about the movie real quick that I watched last night.
Was it The Guilty with Jake Gyllenhaal?
You probably saw it on my thing.
And I watched it last night.
Oh, you did?
Let's talk about it.
Okay. I thought it was very not great, I'll be honest. I didn't know it was even a remake. I thought it was like its own thing.
I think it was like, yeah, I didn't know it was a remake. I thought it was just like an adaptation. But it might have been a remake.
It's like of like the same plot from a foreign film from a few years ago.
Oh. Why do they always do that? Just read the subtitles.
I was watching it with Danielle. Like, I don't know if it was like, I didn't think Jake Gyllenhaal was all that great. I thought his character was a real dickhead. And
no spoilers.
There's a lot, right? There was a lot of things that were, I don't know if they were supposed to be played for laughs, that it wasn't funny.
Mm-hmm.
Like the one when he's in the other room and the guy comes in and he's like, "Oh, we have blah blah blah. I have blah blah on the phone or whatever." And he's like, "Do you want me to put her through?" And he's like, "Yeah, put her through."
Yeah,
and the guy's like, "I'll put her through." It's like, nobody talks like that.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Like I don't know, because it happens like exactly what you just said happens. I think twice in the movie.
Yeah, it happens.
Like it happens
times.
a lot.
Yeah,
so like the first one, when it was like the woman, like the female like shift supervisor or whatever it might have been, they did the exact same thing where she's like, what did I tell you? Like she's like going on like, and also it's like, I just, as somebody who's a manager and as somebody who obviously has had bosses and everybody has had bosses, but like, when she's just like, I told you don't take a phone call, and then he just gets up after and he's like, I gotta take a quick break. Yeah. You would not just be like, yeah, no problem, man, whatever you need. You would say, get back on the fucking phone. Yeah. Like, it was just so unbelievable, too.
Danielle made a point to tell me, and she says in the chat, that the call with Halle Berry and Queen Abigail Breslin was better, which I've never seen.
That is exactly that you just so I remember the poster. The poster was in my head because it was like an outline of Halle Berry's head, and she had like the really frizzy, like kind of chopped off hair in it. And I remember that, but like I could not remember for the life of me the name of that movie. But that's all I was thinking about when watching this. And you're absolutely right. That is, I can't even believe I'm saying this, but yes, that Halle Berry Abigail Breslin movie was way better than Jake Gyllenhaal. And I would think I could speak for the both of us and most of the film-loving community. Jake Gyllenhaal is like, he's up there in like top 10 actors. Like, I don't know what that was. I don't know if it was just, it obviously had a very quick probably shoot. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if it was just something that like he was just like, yeah, I'll do this, for a couple weeks and whatever.
The twist actually kind of, I didn't react to it really, but it did get me.
Same. It didn't really get me. I was like, I don't know. I wanted so much more. I just wanted it to be enjoyable.
Well, I had no idea what it was about either. I just knew that
exactly. Yeah, because I mean the trailer really, it's just like a scene from the movie. And that's it. That's all it gives you. Yeah, it's just like, and how dumb is what's her name, Emily, right? In the one that actually got abducted, like when she's like, yes or no questions. And he goes, car, no, truck, van. I gotta go. I was like, why would you?
Well, she's not. She's but like so, like I think it was more like just the writing. Like it was just weird like that. Like it just did not work.
Yeah, the script was really just not there, I think.
Yeah. And again, I think just and the whole thing where it's like the beginning. Actually, quick question for you. So the beginning, like very beginning, it says like the text, like the truth will. It's like it's a verse.
Yeah.
Not a verse, or I don't know.
I know what you mean. It's like a quote.
But it's like not the quote that I think is in the Bible. There's like a word that's different. And Danielle will probably say it because she pointed it out.
Yeah.
When we were watching it. But it was like, oh, the truth will set you free. And at the end, I was like, well, he's not free because he's still.
Yeah.
I was like, so, I mean, his conscience is free, I guess, but he's still not really free.
Yeah.
So, and I noticed because I was like, when it came up, when that little blurb came up, I was like, is this like a religious like move? Because like the is in like a religious kind of font, it looks like. And then the other, words.
Oh, here we go.
She said,
gotta watch the original.
Oh, she didn't say it yet. But yeah, I am interested in the original because people do say it's better than that. So,
like, what's it called? What was the last thing I was gonna say about it? Oh yeah,
it said the truth will make you free, not the truth will set you. Isn't it set you free?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
So I.
Let's see. What was the last? Oh yeah, kind of like what you were saying. He was just an unlikable guy. Like he was just a very unlikable main character. Like one of the things when he says to the guy next to him, he's like, I've been kind of a dick to you or whatever. He's like, yes, you have. He's like, do you want to go for a drink? And he like sets this whole guy up for like, all right, I'm finally reaching out to my coworker. We're going to go get a drink after. And then he just leaves.
Yeah.
He's like, what about the drink? Yeah. It's like he just doesn't care.
Also, I told Danielle, I go, what did Ethan Hawke get paid to do this movie? Do you think you were like, here's $1 million, here's 10 lines you have to say?
Yeah.
Like, I was just like, why is he even in this?
Yeah.
He's not like, he doesn't, spoiler, he doesn't show up on camera.
Yeah.
Like, he's just, it's just
only
his voice.
The voice, yeah.
Yeah, so, I don't know. But yeah, I would probably skip. Go see God the Foreign one and then maybe watch this.
Honestly,
after.
or watch, what is it, The Call, right?
Or The Call,
yeah.
Like
I mean, just go watch The Call if it's on streaming, which probably is.
Right.
I mean, it's not like Shakespeare, like it's not like The Godfather, but I mean, it's better than The Guilty.
Yeah.
Which is disappointing because I mean, I think Jake Gyllenhaal's just been killing it lately, and this is the first dud in a while. But yeah. Here, let's talk box office real quick. And then we'll go on to Ted Lasso, and then we're going to have a lot of Bond talk. All right. So, number one, speaking of, so you weren't sure. I mean, you were saying, yes, it's going to come in number one, but you weren't sure because this movie did.
I heard it did well internationally, but domestically it didn't really do that well.
Yeah, and I almost said it underperformed, but there's really no such thing as underperforming or even overperforming in the pandemic. So, it's like. Take it as you will. Right. It made $55.2 million domestically. But like TJ said, it's a lot higher right now in the worldwide box office. So worldwide box office, it's up to $326 million. So it has almost made it's made about $275 million already in other markets.
Which I've heard, unfortunately, it's gonna have it was gonna already facing like kind of a tough task, but it had the budget ballooned because they had to stop marketing and restart and everything.
I mean, you hear the thing. You hear the saying all the time, and we say it all the time. To get a movie's true budget, you want to double the production budget to get the marketing budget. You got to do that like 2 or 3 times for this one. I mean, this movie would have to make like $600 million just to break even, maybe. Like, I mean, it might not be that high, but it's probably, I would say at the very minimum, it's got to make like $500 million. Like, it's got to make $500 million to even break even on that film. And the saddest part is it's not the film's fault. It's COVID.
Right.
And I hope that, MGM technically doesn't exist anymore. It's a subsidiary of Amazon right now, and it's just kind of in limbo. But whichever studio, whoever is going to be responsible for actually producing the next set of James Bond movies, I just hope they don't take this into consideration because the worldwide numbers are there for it. Yes, it came out shallow kind of in the domestic market, but I just don't want them to hold this against like the franchise as a whole. You know what I mean? Because it's not really their fault. I mean, like you said, the movie was done. You know what I mean? Like they added some stuff because of all the delays with like Ana de Armas and stuff like that. But like other than like those few scenes and stuff and a couple other things like reshoots, which they were probably going to do anyways, the only thing that impacted this was COVID.
Right.
And it's like I just hope they don't hold it against the movie.
Right.
And we got number 2.
Shannon Parnell.
Yeah.
Parnell said, "I love the original song by Billie Eilish for this film." Yes, I agree. I did enjoy her theme.
Yes. Yeah. Big. We are big Billie Eilish stans in this house. So very, very nice to see that song. And I realized a month or two ago I was like, man, I can't wait to hear what Billie Eilish's song sounds like when I see the movie. And then I remember that they released the song on its own a year and a half ago. Yeah,
it won a Grammy.
Yeah, like two Grammys ago. That's crazy. Let's see here. Then number 2 dropping down, which this is the first time in a long time actually that we've had only a 1 week hold at the box office. Venom dropped. Yeah, actually I've been looking forward to finding out what this number was going to be, because as you guys know, I do work in a movie theater, and Venom did absolute gangbusters in its first week, and we were really thinking that this week right here that we're in was going to really be like a heavy hitter with like No Time to Die around like 70 and probably Venom being around like 50. But Venom fell off quite a bit, dropped about 65%. It's at $31.7 million at number 2. Addams Family again dropping down to number 3 with only $10 million. So that's again like a 42% drop. Shang-Chi dropping down. Everything pretty much shifted 1 spot this week, except for Dear Evan Hansen, which dropped
2 spots.
Dropped 2 spots down to number 7, well out of the top 5. But then we have Shang-Chi, like I said, at number 4. That's with $4.3 million. And then Many Saints of Newark in number 4 place, but with a big drop of 70% and only bringing in $1.4 million. So that movie as a whole, basically, it's looking at, I think, like $15 million total.
Oh, really?
If not more. $10.2 million total.
I mean, it's on HBO, so like...
That's true. But also, I feel like we've had a lot of movies on HBO that have performed much better than that. I think maybe they just kind of overestimated the draw for this movie. Yeah.
I've also heard it's
disappointing.
It's fine. Like I still haven't watched it. I need to watch.
Yeah, I've heard
HBO,
like
but...
middling to, like, you could skip it.
Right,
you know what I mean? Like unless you're really
a big Sopranos person,
which is unfortunate because I think a lot of the critical buzz coming off of it was, oh, this isn't just going to be a movie for Sopranos fans. This is going to be a movie that stands on its own and is a good movie in its own right. That was kind of like what the critical buzz was building to. And then as soon as it came out, it was just like, oh, it just completely flopped the other way. It was like, really, this is for people who love The Sopranos.
Right.
Like, this is for fans of The Sopranos. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, what immediately jumps out to you? I mean, obviously, like we already talked about
the Shang-Chi drop of only 30 kind of jumps out. I think that's a good sign. It's still still kicking.
Let's see, and that's in its 6th week.
So it lost 655 theaters. Is that what that is?
Yep. Yeah.
What else do we have? Free Guy. If you go back to Free Guy,
Free Guy
quick, number 6.
Only dropped
45.
Yeah, that's
so it's
not bad.
And this is week to week, right? We're not doing like, wow, it lost 1,050
Yeah,
theaters.
it lost 1,050 theaters, and it only lost like 45%.
Can you click on Dear Evan Hansen for me real quick? I'm just curious how much that has made so far in its lifetime. I'm going to guess.
I'm going to say 37.
I'm going to say like 45.
Okay.
Not even close.
No way.
No way.
That's a joke.
Did it release internationally, though? Or do we not have the numbers for that?
No, it has not released internationally.
Okay, so still domestic, that's not good.
That's terrible.
That's awful, because I'm assuming that's the budget was probably more than that, right?
Bro.
You have to imagine that Ben Platt's wig was,
half the production budget.
Exactly.
At least half.
That's not good, though. That is terrible.
That is doo-doo.
And it's
the number that we are referring to that we haven't said out loud yet, it only made $14 million. That is where it's at right now.
Danielle said, "I don't think Saints of Newark was advertised like at all. I think more people would have seen it if it was." Yeah, and I think they advertised it as, I think I said this like a week or two ago. Like it was advertised as the, like, Tony Soprano, like the making, stuff like that.
Who made Tony Soprano?
Right,
That's
and again, it's more.
Which,
from what I've heard, it's more Christopher's dad's story.
I was just gonna say, who made Tony Soprano? Isn't it him? Isn't it Dickie Moltisanti? They pen it as like a question.
Right.
It's like, probably the guy that's the main character in all the promotional material. Mm-hmm. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think that goes into it. I think it's kind of a dumb tagline.
Right.
Lamb debuted, which I didn't even realize. Lamb debuted at number 8.
Yes, me and Danielle are interested in it.
Oh, very limited though.
Very limited release.
Yeah.
We're gonna see that at some point. It comes out this week.
I think in wide, because this is already released.
You're right. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We're definitely gonna check that out at some point.
What is that? $1 million was like 600 theaters. It's like a 30,000
per
theater average.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
That's not bad. Yeah, I mean, considering it's an A24, kind of. I think it's foreign too. I think it's a subtitled film.
It is, yeah.
So that's obviously in America at least, it's probably working against it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm interested to check that out. That is not a lot internationally, but then like you said, limited, so we don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, when it goes wide, who knows? I mean, some A24 movies, like, I mean, Lighthouse was kind of Lighthouse, Hereditary, and Midsommar, I think, are the 3 exceptions because those grew beyond A24 and were big releases.
Especially like Hereditary, I think was like pretty big. Was Lighthouse that big? A big
Lighthouse stayed.
Oh,
like we had Lighthouse for I think 6 weeks. Like because the word of mouth was just like, and then the Oscar nominations came out.
Meant to real quick shout out to you guys getting the My Hero movie coming in 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
I might be there. I don't know if I'm going to go to that one or a different one, but
All Might, right?
Yes, All Might is a character.
We might have a little bit of
you're gonna have a little poster or action figure or something?
I don't. No, I actually don't know yet.
But
it is like it's called. We're just listing it like it's a normal movie, but it's called like a special event or something.
Right. It's what do they call those? Because Regal always advertises them.
No, it's not a Fathom event.
Oh, it's not a Fathom?
No, because we don't do that.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah, at our location.
Oh, okay.
At both locations.
Because I was gonna say, just like with the poster or whatever, if you guys get anything, because right before the pandemic, there was one that came out, like My Hero movie.
Yeah.
And I went to North Park, and they had like posters.
Yeah.
So
wasn't that? Or wait, are you seeing a My Hero movie or the
My Hero movie?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because I know or was this like years ago, and I'm just misremembering.
Dragon Ball.
Broly.
Yeah, that was like 2-3 years ago. Yeah.
Oh my god. But that being said, even if we don't get anything promotional, we did get, I think we got 2 posters for Demon Slayer. So, I mean, we might just get regular posters that probably nobody's going to
Did you get that?
We played Demon Slayer for like 7 weeks.
Oh, wow.
Because that was like all we had. It was like Demon Slayer and some other horror movie. And Spiral.
Oh, right.
Right, yeah.
Danielle said, as a theater kid, I can say that a lot of theater kids, who the audience is, are protesting the movie, and also it's not a wig. Oh, I thought it was. And Michelle said, they didn't have to pay the sheep. That's very true. Although that in the trailer, there's that one sheep walking on its hind legs. I'm assuming that's obviously CGI, but...
No, I think that they actually revealed that's Ari Aster on his elbows.
Yeah. Wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah. Can you imagine it? I can tell you one thing that would get people to stop going to see Lamb immediately. If Ari Aster comes out and just goes, that was weird as shit. If Ari Aster just goes, I don't know about that one.
What's wrong with the Johnsons was weird.
Yeah. That would be funny. Actually.
I think that's what it's called.
That would actually be like the death knell of a horror movie. If Ari Aster comes out of it and goes, I don't know what the hell I just watched. You're like, okay, wait, what?
So before we actually move on to the last, I just want to throw like maybe 1 or 2 news things.
Yes, please do, because I do not have that many.
Okay, so, the first thing you did talk about, you said you didn't watch the Black Phone trailer, which came out today.
I did not. No, we discussed
We didn't do a reaction to it. I was busy. Sean was busy.
We do have a reaction.
We have a Curb Your Enthusiasm season
11.
11?
Yeah, 11.
Trailer reaction that Sean did earlier today. That's up on the channel, so go check that out. It gave me now it's directed by Scott Derrickson. Do you know off the top of your head, did Scott Derrickson do Sinister?
Yeah.
That's okay. It has a found footage feel to it, which for me personally,
is it a horror movie?
Or Sinister?
Yeah. No.
Black Phone?
Yeah,
it's a horror movie.
Okay, I didn't know if it was just like a thriller.
It looks horror to me.
Okay.
Well, I mean, there's paranormal kind of paranormal stuff going on. It seems as well. So,
have you watched anything in the like Bly Manor?
No, I've
Midnight
not.
Mass.
I'm interested in Midnight Mass.
I saw a big spoiler from the finale.
So
I was like, "Whoa, okay," but it got me more interested. And we love
Raul Cooley.
Yeah, Raul, exactly. Yeah, I was gonna say friend of the show, Raul Cooley, but no, we know you're watching. Hashtag my Ezra. He's like got a really big role.
Yeah, he's like the sheriff or something.
Because he was in the last show in the universe.
He was in the last two. I think he was.
Oh, is he one that he's been in all three? I think.
He's either been all three or the two.
Okay.
The second one.
Because I know the second one he played like he was like a house, not like a maid or something, but like something like that, like a live-in Manny or something for like the kids. I think because I just based on the trailer. But in this one, he's like the guy. Aside from the priest, he's like the main character, like main town guy of the show. Yeah. So I'm really interested in it, just from the Raul Cooley.
So have you ever seen Sinister?
No.
Okay. So I like personally, I'm not a big horror movie person.
That's with Patrick Wilson as well, right? Isn't he in that franchise?
No, it's
too?
Ethan Hawke.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
What is Patrick Wilson in?
Insidious.
Yeah. And everything else.
So it has a very sinister feel to it with the found footage.
Yeah, it looks like 5 or 6 people watching.
Yeah.
Shout out. Make sure you're subscribed if you aren't already.
And Ethan Hawke looks fucking terrifying. Like
really?
He is the it's not a spoiler. He's the guy because it's in the trailer. He's the guy kidnapping kids and putting them. So they like the premise is like he kidnaps his kid and he puts him in his basement or whatever, his little, and there's a phone in there, and the phone he says like the phone doesn't ring. It hasn't worked since I was a kid or whatever. Phone rings and it's everybody that's talking to the current kid that's in that basement are his past victims. So there's kind of a paranormal element to it, and then there's this other plot with this girl that I'm not really sure what. She's looking for the kid because she's also very young.
Yeah.
I mean the kid in the trailer maybe he was like supposed to be 10 or something. Like he's really young.
Oh, that's really.
But
dark.
Ethan Hawke is like just in the trailer he was like terrifying.
Yeah.
Like, and I was watching Roka's trailer reaction, and he was like he might have done he might have been a good Joker. Like he could maybe because. If you watch like the one scene where he's like, he pretends to be a magician to like get the kid in his van or whatever, and he like has this like kind of laugh that's kind of like kind of like really creepy.
Oh wow!
But I'm interested, but I don't know if I'll go. Like I don't think I have the confidence to go to the theater. Like I might have to wait.
Is it just theatrical only?
Yes. Yeah. It comes out in February too, so it's not that far away. But
That means it's not. That means
it's not this year. But
that means they're not going for the Oscar with it.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah.
But yeah, I'm very interested in that.
What was I just? When you said right before you said he would be a good Joker, for some reason, all I had in my head was I was like Ethan Hawke, which obviously we know he's going to be. Ethan Hawke's having a big year coming up because next year he's going to be in this movie. He's going to be the main villain in Moon Knight, joining the MCU, and he's going to be in Knives Out 2 at the end of the year. He's going to have a big year next year, not to mention any other project he's working on. Right. But what I was thinking was, I was like, Ethan Hawke would be a really good live action Doctor Strange Supreme, like from What If. I was like, but I was like, I was like, obviously.
Oh, you mean like you? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, obviously, it's Benedict Cumberbatch, but I was like, I could see Ethan Hawke like in another, which. Then again, I just said I could see Ethan Hawke being Doctor Strange. Well, who was going to be Doctor Strange?
Right.
Joker.
Yeah.
Joaquin Phoenix. Right. Yeah. I feel like Ethan Hawke and Joaquin Phoenix, even though they look very similar, like or very physically different or anything like that, I feel like they kind of can sometimes go for the same roles. Like I feel like the two of them are kind of both in that wheelhouse. I think Joaquin is probably a little more
right.
Like I don't want to say talented, but like I think Joaquin puts that extra mile in sometimes, whereas Ethan Hawke doesn't. But I think a lot of like you said, like I think Ethan Hawke would have been good in Joker. Like I think Ethan Hawke would have been good in Her. He might have been a little bit old, but maybe not back then. But yeah, First Reform. If you guys haven't seen First Reform,
yeah, it's very good.
Check that movie out because that movie is fantastic.
And it's something else that, again, I have a lot of things that are coming to my head that I want to talk to you about.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't news. Actually, I'll ask you after. Is the Will Poulter thing do you have that?
Oh yeah, I mean that was really all I had.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you? Well, I guess touching on one other trailer. Did you see the Scream trailer?
I did not, only because I gotta be honest, I really have no interest.
Okay.
I've never seen any.
I've only seen the first one.
Which again, I have so many franchises. One we're gonna talk about a lot tonight that I have never seen any of them.
Right.
Not fully at least, but like Scream, it's probably one of those things where I'll try to watch the other ones before the new one comes out. But you watch. I mean, what did you think?
I liked it. Again, I only have the recollection of the first one, which I liked.
How many are there? This is the
fifth? Yeah, which I don't know how the canon works exactly. I don't know if it's like a remake.
I think it's
because Courtney Cox is in it. Neve Campbell, right? That's her name.
Yeah.
Is in it. Hoping for a Matthew Lillard cameo.
That's what I was telling you.
I don't know if that's actually possible though. I don't even remember what happened in the. Like I remember his character. But yeah, I thought it looked good. I have interest, but I don't know if I'll see it in theater. Like maybe I'll just wait for it to be rented.
But that is coming to streaming. That's going to Paramount.
Oh, it is?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well then.
Yeah, because
I'll check it out then.
If you look at at least I'm like 90% sure, because Paramount. I've been going on Paramount Plus lately. They're pimping the crap out of Ghostface and the whole franchise.
Next week we might have to do our streaming service rankings. I've been meaning to ask you. We should do that soon because I'm very intrigued.
If you want to get a hint as to not our rankings, but some of our thoughts on streaming services, as of about like 6 months ago, go check out our episode Rants on Film.
Right. Yeah.
Shout out! Happy birthday! Happy 1 year anniversary to Rants on Fire. Danielle and Emily over there holding down the place. Shout out.
Yeah.
That's all I gotta say.
So, one quick question I'll ask you. We were talking about this before we went live. Halloween Kills, are you going to watch it in the theater or on Peacock?
This might not even make sense. I'm going to watch it on Peacock only because I know I was such a convert fan of
2018?
Of rewatching all of them because of the 2018 and then 2018
You
itself.
watched all of them?
Back in 2018,
Oh,
yeah.
I did not know
Yeah,
that.
I rewatched all of them.
I think Danielle wants to watch all of them. And I was like, I know the first one's good, the second one's good, and then it goes downhill from there.
That's why, and I guess I'll shout out, I'm not going to say anything more than this because, things are still being worked on, but we have two big shows for two pretty big events coming up in the next, within the month, actually. Two big shows coming up, one in October, one in November, that we're kind of planning right now. One of them, that was originally the idea pitched, was to rewatch all of the Halloween. And I was like, I don't know if we've had it. And as you guys noticed, haven't been posting every single trailer reaction because things have just been super busy and hectic lately. So we were like, maybe pick something a little bit like shorter than that, just because. But yeah, I mean, it's worth it. Like, it's fun to. I rewatched all of them, like, in a row, like a couple years back, and then also when I was living with our friend Paige, we watched all of the Friday the 13th.
I do remember.
Yeah. And that was pretty cool. I mean, I had never really cared like about Jason or anything like that. I mean, it's just like, oh yeah, it's just another like
horror
cool,
franchise,
yeah. But like, I don't know. There's just something about that. And then when we did all that Saw talk, which I'll tell you something about that in a second. But when we were, go back, check out our Saw episodes, pretty fun episode. Very, very long episode. It's one of our longest episodes we've ever done, but it's worth it. There's just something about watching like a long-running, many-installment horror franchise back to back to back, and just like steeping yourself in that mythology for like a week or two. That's just like, man, you're like, that's the best franchise I've ever seen in my life. Yeah. Obviously with Saw, that's true. Yeah. but like seriously, it really is fun. So I mean, it's a lot of movies, but if you have the time, I mean, do it with anything. What I was gonna say real quick though about Saw. So I had friends over for the football game on Sunday, and somehow we started talking about Saw, and Travis was like, "Oh yeah, Sean's love of." He was like, Sean loves Saw. He was like, he never shuts up about Saw. And Brandon was like, really? Yeah. And I was like, Brandon, we literally did. I was like, we literally talked about it when we were, because that was like when we were, gaming a lot too. We were like, I know we talked about it. And also, I'm pretty sure he tuned in for part of or something, like the entire show that we did on Saw when Spiral was coming out. But yeah, that was funny.
Last thing I wanted to touch on. And you might be annoyed with me. So last week I said, sell me on Squid Game.
Oh, no.
I'm not done with it. We're not even close to being done. We're only 2 episodes in, and me and Daniel aren't like, we're not kind of roped in. Like, I don't see the.
Has it stopped yet?
No, it stopped. Yeah. Like,
has it started again?
No.
That's the worst part of it. And I don't mean that. I mean, the show goes like this. The show goes...
Like the second episode might be the worst episode?
I think it is the worst episode. Okay. Because that's kind of what I was floating around talking about last week with the stopping of the game and stuff. And I liked it because it was like, that's like something I wouldn't expect. When the guy has to make that choice, you're like, oh, well, obviously, we've seen the trailer, we've seen the images, there's more games, like... He's going to keep going. But then when he doesn't, I was like, oh, okay, where's this going? So I think I was kind of intrigued. And I also went right from 1 to 2 to 3 to, you know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. I didn't binge it all in one sitting, but I did the first 4 episodes. So I think it kind of padded it. Mm-hmm. So I think stopping after episode 2, I could see where you would be like, oh. But once
it goes, it goes.
Once it goes, it goes. Once we're in it. Because you're not even really in it yet.
Right, yeah. Mm-hmm. We just had the first game, and that was it.
But about episode 2 aside, episode 1's pretty good.
Yeah, it was
right?
good.
Yeah,
no,
it's pretty. Yeah. I really like, for some things that happen later on, just the juxtaposition of like where Gohan starts the series at. I just love that. Like because I want to go back and rewatch it, and I've started on the first episode. I'm like halfway through the first episode because it's really good, and believe me, it ramps up, man.
Okay.
Do you have any theories about anything this early on?
I don't think there's. I feel like there's nothing to have theories about. It's pretty straightforward. It feels like to me so far.
Okay.
So far, right. Like I said,
we'll check back in with him next week.
Okay. Yeah, that's all I have this week.
If you finish it next week, I mean, that's fine. But if you don't finish
we probably won't because we have, again,
I'm hoping you'll be on like episode 6.
The next few weeks, there are movies out of the wazoo.
The problem is, too, they're all 2.5 hours.
Yeah, like they're like we're definitely watching Halloween, but got my Dune tickets for I think it's next week or 2 weeks from now. And then we have like Soho. We have, what else do we have? There's a lot of stuff. Soho, Halloween, Dune,
Eternals.
That's kind of November, but same time period.
Last
Duel, which is I'm watching this Friday. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of other stuff. Is House of Gucci November or this month? I think it's November.
I thought it was December.
And more and more I've watched the trailer, I've kind of disliked the trailer. Like
House of Gucci?
When she says.
When she's
most viewed trailer reaction,
most viewed video,
bio plants apparently.
Yeah,
But every time Lady Gaga says she does that thing that she says House of Gucci, I'm like, please just don't say that. Yeah. Like, why? Don't say the title. Like
I think
that.
it probably plays better in the film.
Probably.
As long as she doesn't do it like every scene. Yeah, like that's how every scene ends.
Yeah,
that would be funny.
Daniel said too much home life, not enough games. So hopefully like you said, we'll get to that. Point. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not laughing I'm laughing because it's like, I could totally understand that now.
Yeah.
But it's like, just get ready, man.
Okay.
Because when episode 3 gets cracking, man, and I believe episode 3 also adds in. Yes, I believe episode 3 adds in this whole new element of it. Oh man, yeah. I don't think I'm. Yeah, I'm not spoiling anything.
Okay.
It adds in. There's this whole new fold kind of to it that gets added in, kind of a different perspective of it, where you get a little more of the inner workings, a little bit more of the inner workings revealed, not much.
Right.
But yeah, it's definitely, if your worried thing is too much home life, not enough games, it'll kick off.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, so your news thing, or 2 news, or how many?
Yeah, so I mean, arguably the biggest news this week, and biggest news out of the MCU in a long while, is we finally have our casting for Adam Warlock within the MCU. So that is, we've known for a while that Adam Warlock was probably going to be making his debut in Guardians 3. We now have that completely confirmed, that is where he's going to be making his debut, and we also have it completely confirmed, ironclad, signed off by James Gunn and the actor himself, that Will Poulter, reject Pennywise and Eyebrows himself, Will Poulter, will be playing Adam Warlock, which I messaged you and I messaged a lot of my friends. I was like, the main thing about that for me is just, I love how unorthodox it is.
Yeah.
Like, you ask everybody, who was your pick for Adam Warlock, or who did you think? Everybody said Zac Efron. Because it's like, he...
Really?
Yeah.
I thought I was maybe going
No, like, yeah, like my friend Marin said Zac Efron. My mother said Zac Efron. Everybody online, like, because I think he was like, I think it was one of those things where it was like, what did you call that? Like a phenomenon where like everybody's thinking the same, like an unconscious group thought was like, oh, it'll probably be like a Zac Efron type. Something like that. And then, like, to cast Will Poulter, I just love that. Yeah. Because it's like, oh, man, and like I said, I just love how unorthodox it is. Because it's like, Adam Warlock he's made, at least in the MCU's origin, you know, it shares a lot of similarities with the comic origin. But for the MCU, at least, it's like, this is the Sovereign, who, if you've seen Guardians 2, they're like these perfect people that they, like, cull the poor and like the disfigured of their society, and only the rich and beautiful and whatever like go on, kind of thing. There's like golden race of people, and this is the guy that they view as like the perfect specimen, and they go with Will Poulter. Like I just love that. I mean, not that Will Poulter's not an attractive guy, but like he's not a conventionally handsome guy. He's known for his kind of crazy look.
I said it to you too. Like I don't know what it is, but Will Poulter, KJ Apa, and Cameron Monaghan all mesh as one person to me.
Will Poulter,
I don't know why.
And Cameron Monaghan, I can understand. I don't know.
I didn't even know
KJ
Will Poulter
Apa.
was English. Was he English in the? What the frick?
Will Poulter's not English.
Yeah, he is. I heard an interview with him. I'm pretty sure he is.
My mind is blown.
I think he is. I believe.
Wow. I think you're right. I mean, he's English in Maze Runner. He's obviously English in Black Mirror.
Okay. That's what I was thinking. I was like, was he English?
The only thing that I think he wasn't English in that I can think of is
born in UK. Yep, born in UK.
What was the only thing that
Were
he
the
wasn't
Millers?
English? Yeah.
Yeah.
So he was doing an accent for Where the Millers.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Well, I mean, I would have never guessed John Boyega was English.
In Attack of the Block.
Well, I've never seen that, so I wouldn't know. But in Star Wars, like that was really the first time I'd seen him. What?
I literally just thought like Finn had an English accent.
No, yeah.
Like I literally was like, oh, Attack the Block.
Yeah.
I was like, that's the only thing I think that he hasn't had his accent for.
Right.
And I remember, it's not right. Right. Oh my god. I don't normally condone all of his stuff, but because he's kind of a wacky, out there guy.
Mm-hmm.
But who isn't on YouTube? But if you guys are into sequel trilogy Star Wars stuff, Star Wars Theory, he posted a really cool thing that was like kind of a fan fiction of Episode 7, but it was more of like a rework. Like he kept the main story elements, but kind of got to it in a different way. And he posted this like 15-minute video with visuals and, you know, parts of the script and stuff that he wrote. It was pretty good.
I just remember too. Fandom is this week.
Yeah.
This weekend.
Yeah, we messed that.
So
up.
we'll be doing. Quick plug. We'll be doing reaction stuff for that.
Yeah.
You took a whole day off, right?
Yes.
Okay, so
actually, well, funny story.
Okay.
So last week we were like, when's DC Fandom?
Yeah.
I think it's or maybe it was 2 weeks ago. We were like,
Yeah.
it's definitely the 23rd. Or I said it. I was like, it's definitely the 23rd, I think. I was like, okay, cool. Because I had requested the 23rd off. I don't remember why.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, it must have been DC Fandom. It's the 16th, but just luck had it. I got the entire day off.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, luck had it.
Yeah.
I make up with it with a 13-hour shift on Friday, but
Right. Yeah.
welcome to the world of a movie
So some
theater
of them
manager.
I won't be able to do, but I'll definitely try.
Yeah.
Like if there's a Batman one, maybe.
Well,
hold
hopefully,
off
I
with
think I'll
me
be
or
home.
for me or something
Yeah.
like that.
I should be home all day.
But yeah, so that just came to mind. I was like, oh, I'm really looking forward to that.
Mm-hmm.
What else are we talking about? Yeah. So
Well,
Will Poulter, interesting. I don't know what to. I'll just be interested to see what.
Do you think he's going to be English?
I
I feel like
maybe.
there's a severe lack of.
I think so because Elizabeth Debicki was English, right? That's who she's because she's
That's
in
true.
that, right? Yeah, that's what's her name?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't remember her character's name, but
Aisha.
that's not it, is it?
Mm-hmm.
Is it actually?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
I thought it was like
Blip Blorb.
Empress or
Yeah.
something.
What was I gonna say though? I feel like there's a big lack of accented heroes in the Marvel universe. Like, other than Vision,
Mm-hmm.
who else is an accent? Everybody else is American.
Yeah.
Until the Eternals, obviously.
Yeah.
Eternal. I love that in the Eternals they just let everybody keep their own accent.
I'm very hyped for that movie.
Mm-hmm. I'm very hyped for Richard Madden.
Yeah.
To talk about
Yeah.
the franchise that we're going to talk about. I think Richard Madden's my pick for the next James Bond.
Do you think there's a Game of Thrones like joke? Like, oh, that's my brother.
Yeah, brother from another mother.
Exactly.
Literally. Or what's up, cuz?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
So I could have sworn I had one other thing I want to talk about. Oh yeah, real quick. There was an announcement today that Disney was teasing this video game related. A December 14th video game announcement for Star Wars.
Oh yeah, I saw it.
So what do you think?
Because isn't December 14th? That's like one of three. That's like the other Star Wars day, right? Because December 14th isn't that when Force Awakens came out?
Oh, maybe.
I think so. So it's like May the 4th is like the main Star Wars day, but then like the halfway point is when the sequels premiered, I think, something like that.
I'm gonna have to assume it's probably Fallen Order 2 announcement or something like that.
I hope so. I just hope it's something.
Yeah.
Honestly, though, I would rather have. Well, no, if it doesn't have whatever it is, if it doesn't have a release date attached to it, I don't really care.
Right.
Like I just won't care. I'll be like, they could say we're doing something I would really care about, but my hopes wouldn't get too high if it didn't have a release date. They could be like, we're doing the Jango Fett game. It's going to be a full single player, huge sweeping story Jango Fett game. If they were just like coming soon, I'd be like, okay, I don't care. Like it might as well have just been an announcement on a freaking newsletter. You know what I mean? Like, so I hope it's Fallen Order 2, and I hope that they're like, I don't know.
Early 2022.
Oh, could you imagine? Well, I mean, not even early, but imagine if they were just like coming
2022.
Star Wars Day 2022.
Yeah.
Like May the 4th. That would be incredible.
I doubt it, but
it might be
cool.
too soon.
Yeah,
it might be like May the 4th, 2023.
Yeah.
But really, we know that Fallen Order 2 has been in development for years. Like they've been working on it actively for years, but it might still be too soon.
Right.
And it better not be another update on Lego Star Wars. Like if they're just like, we have a new release date.
When is that again? February 2022 or January? Isn't it really early?
No, I thought they pushed it to spring 2022.
It might be.
Yeah, it's
might
spring.
be like May.
And I think it is.
Oh.
Yeah, I was like, no, I don't think it was that. I think that's where maybe people were thinking, but it went because I remember the meme of all the release dates next to each other. It was like 3 of them were 3 different May, like different years. Because originally it was supposed to come out in 2019.
Jeez. Yeah. All right, so that's all. Do you have anything else or no?
No, I don't think so. Let us
Okay.
know if you guys have any other news. But speaking of Will Poulter and We're the Millers.
Oh, Thor. Shall I say Thor? He's Australian.
Dude, he's not Australian in the movie. He's
No,
doing
he's not.
an accent
No,
in
yeah,
English. Yeah, I just mean like people keeping their accents.
Oh, okay.
Like I know the main one that people are like, which of course there would be an uproar, if they did it. But like people were like, there would be people that would be butthurt, but like, everybody I think would totally have been down with just a British Doctor Strange. Like, there's no reason that Stephen Strange is American.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? And not only American, but Cumberbatch is kind of like very weird, which obviously is getting better every single time he plays him because he's been playing him for like 6 years straight. But like his very weird like New Jersey like bland whatever accent he's doing. You know what he sounds like? He sounds like he is an English person doing an American accent, and his American accent sounds like Peter Dinklage's actual voice. You know what I mean? Because it's like Peter Dinklage did English for Tyrion, but but actual Peter Dinklage sounds like Doctor Strange. I don't know if that's what he was going for or not, but I will say there are a couple times in the What If finale where he slips.
Oh yeah.
Like, because the only person that pronounces Ultron as Ultron is Vision, because he's English.
Yeah.
But every time Doctor Strange Supreme says Ultron, he says it's the only way we can beat Ultron. And I'm like, okay, all right, Benedict. But I will say, Benedict Cumberbatch is the single best voice acting performance in What If. Like, he's obvious. Also, I mean, and this isn't like a surprise, but he's definitely, I would say, the fan favorite character from What If. Like,
gotcha.
For sure. I think he's just the best written and all that kind of stuff too. But yeah. Oh, Tom Hiddleston has his actual accent.
Oh yeah.
So the only two people that I think actually have their actual accents that aren't American is Tom Hiddleston and Paul Bettany.
Gotcha.
But yeah.
All right. So, do you want to talk about Ted Lasso first? Or you want to talk about?
Yeah, let's talk about Ted Lasso.
Ted Lasso. All right. So,
is this going to be spoilers?
I'm going to get into spoilers.
Okay.
Because that's basically what I want to talk to you about.
Yeah.
So, spoiler for Ted Lasso if you haven't seen it.
Yeah, spoilers for Ted Lasso. Season 2 finale. Boom.
So,
Nate the Snake.
Yeah, like what? So I thought the whole kind of like big blow up that he had at Ted, like very well acted and everything.
Oh yeah, what's his name? Nick Mohammed.
Yeah.
Right. That Emmy nomination was very well deserved.
For the character, it's just like I don't know, like I really did not like him after that because in my opinion the only reason he's where he is because Ted gave him the opportunity to be in that position and to kind of throw him, air his dirty laundry out there. And shout out to Trent Krim for fucking giving him a head up too.
Did you see the journalism community like flipped out after the second to last episode, but then they were like, okay, that's fine on the with what he does, because they were like, Trent Krim has been like one of the best characters on the show, and he just threw his entire morals and all of his credibility away by doing what he did, and then everybody was like, oh, okay, he quit. It was like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
I love that though. Trent Krim, independent. Yeah.
But I just like, I don't like. I just did not. I just like hate that character now. And to the whole thing, like him getting a job. And again, I watched like Roka's like review that he does with.
Do you do it with the Geek Buddies?
Yeah, he does it with Shannon.
Yeah.
And he made a very good point with how just like, and I'm not even talking about the character. I'm just talking about like the team coming back and getting promoted, and that leads into Nate kind of becoming the coach of West Ham, which you see at the end. Yeah. And obviously they're gonna butt heads at some point during the season, in the next season, and in like, but like the way that the team was very, very low in the standings, and how somehow they got
promoted that quick.
It didn't make any sense.
Oh, really?
Like just like statistically,
like you can't make
like there's no way that where they were, because I don't remember where they were like at the beginning of the season, or in the middle.
Oh well, no, but remember they only won. They had half of their entire season was ties, so they were undefeated going into like the last 3 games.
Yeah, but even that,
and then they lost. But they lost to what was it, Man City, right?
But even that,
or Man United.
Well, that wasn't a league game.
Oh,
that wouldn't have been a league game. That would have been a tournament. So that
okay.
was probably FA Cup. I think it was FA Cup, which doesn't count towards your promotion.
Mm-hmm.
But to get promoted, like you have to be top 3. And if you're telling me that they tied every single game, like that's only a point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's not a win.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard for me to believe that every other team like didn't just win a bunch of games, and you have Richmond over here tying.
Because then they even got promoted. They didn't even win the last game. They just tied.
They tied, yeah. Which, again, that was probably to sneak in for, I think it's the top 3. I could be wrong.
Mm-hmm. Maybe everybody else has had a real shit year.
Right, yeah.
Because I remember the what are their names? They're real life people, the announcers, the commentators. Like they were like, and what a feat! Like to be promoted just 1 year after relegation.
Mm-hmm.
So they addressed it like that. It was like just not a very common thing.
Yeah.
But if that's how ties count and stuff, then I could see it doesn't really make much sense.
Something I thought was interesting that I picked up on. So in the second last episode, when Roy and Keely are doing the photo shoot together, and they're kind of airing what happened, and Keely says that Nate tried to kiss her.
Mm-hmm.
But Nate actually did kiss her. And then Nate says that he did. But, like, she just lied to him, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I just didn't, I thought there was, like, a little mix-up there where I was expecting him to say, oh, like, literally when Nate was like, yo, I kissed Keely, whatever day ago, I was expecting him to be like, well, she told me that you tried, but you didn't.
Yeah.
So, like, but there was nothing there, so I was a little confused by that. Maybe it was just like a little writing mistake or something. But if we're looking at the second season in total, I thought it was a very good season. Obviously, we got more dark. From the Christmas episode on, it was pretty dark. So I'm interested to see what happens
next.
Apparently,
we're gonna find out soon. July.
Yeah. Damn.
Well, I mean, it's just, I think it's crazy because Ted Lasso is, what is it? It's 12 weeks, right? So it started in July. This season started in July. So it's really, we're only waiting till the regular time. Which when I saw that, I was like, July? That's super quick. But I guess we've gotten used to waiting 18, 24 months for things. So it's like, wait, 2 seasons of a TV show are coming out a year apart? What? How did they get that done so fast? Whereas like that's always used to be what it was.
I liked how they ended Sam's thing. I liked that he was kind of opening the restaurant. The whole like the guy going off on him, I thought was really funny.
Yeah, I thought it was funny, but I think it went on like a little too long.
Yeah,
because I was like, but I did think it was funny. Who was it? Higgins that came in and was like, "Oh, what had happened here?" And Sam was just like,
But yeah, I'm interested to see what happens with Nate the next season and kind of how much he's in this, because they're not gonna face him every single week. Are we gonna get
the only thing I can
Richmond
think of,
and look at West Ham and stuff like that?
That's the only thing that I can think of, because now there's 2 series regulars on that team, which is Rupert and Nate. So it's like maybe we'll be following them hatching,
which I'd really like to see how he got that job, because
Rupert bought the club.
No, I know, but like Rupert, first in his mind was Nate from Richmond.
No, I bet Nate probably went to Rupert.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
And was like, yo, let's do this. Yeah. And also, you got to remember, too, part of the thing that sent Nate down the path he was on, he was hot shit. Everybody was like, he should be the freaking manager. Like, he should have his own team.
Again, that's still like, after you do one good thing.
Yeah, like one good call.
You make
basically.
one good tactical adjustment or tactical formation or anything, and it's like, you're the fucking next man. You're the next great manager. It's like, what are you talking about? He was literally just a equipment guy. Like, I don't know, like, 2 months ago.
Yeah.
Like he's just an assistant coach. He's not even probably the best assistant manager.
Yeah.
It's probably Roy. who played the game.
Yeah.
So I don't like, again, that character is just so, he just like goes off at him, and I get where he's coming from, but it's also like you're only in this position because of Ted. Like if it was anybody other than Ted, you would not even be. Chances are you wouldn't be a manager. You'd still be the boot guy.
Well, I saw one thing that was like, I think it was a TikTok, and it was like this whole like think piece on it, and it was like, Nate is going off at Ted because Nate is actually going off like at Nate, because it's like he basically was, he looked up to Ted so much and saw Ted as a father figure.
Right.
It was like Ted is the ultimate like man, because like Nate's thing is like he was never respected by his peers, by his friends, by anything. Well, he never had friends, even by his parents, which we see in that episode earlier in the season where he's just trying to get that better table, which is now, even looking back in retrospect, is even a better thing, because that was really where he was like, no, like we literally were watching, this whole season they snuck in a villain origin story. You know what I mean? Like, like just him working the courage up over the course of that episode to tell her, not ask her, we're taking the window table. Like, my parents are here. I'm having this nice night. We're going to that table. Like, that moment, like, he wants to be like a manly man, or what he thinks is like a manly man.
Right.
And he used to, in season 1, he thought, like, that's Ted. Like, Ted Lasso is this, like, anchor. He's always happy. He's always doing the best that he can. He's always helping people, doing all this stuff. And then when in Nate's eyes, Ted kind of abandoned him, like he says, which he didn't really abandon him. He was just dealing with things with Jamie and with his family and his own personal stuff. Then Nate found out about the panic attacks and stuff. It's like all of a sudden Ted was not the person that Nate thought he was, and Nate got angry with Ted basically because Nate modeled himself off of Ted, and now he's realizing that Ted isn't who he thought he was. So it's like it's all like created in his head that it's all this stuff is Ted's fault, when really it's just his own, crap that he's projecting onto him. And now he like tries to model himself off of like what he thinks of like Roy or Jamie. Like you saw when, like what you were talking about, when he tells Roy, I kissed Keely yesterday, because that was after Roy said, Jamie told Keely that he loved her, and I think it was like Higgins or somebody was like, oh, and he's still standing, and he was like, and Roy was like, yeah, I fucking forgave him. And then Nate walks in, and Nate's like, yeah, I kissed Keely, and Roy's just like, yeah, that's fine. And he's like so upset. He's like, what do you mean? He was like, Jamie just said that he loved her. I actually kissed her, and you're just not even gonna do anything. And Roy was like, people make mistakes. You know what I mean? Like, and Nate is like, you can tell he's like pissed off. He's like, you were about to kill Jamie. You're just not even gonna say anything to me. Like, so Nate's like, what, am I even like a person? Like, am I even like, he wants to be seen as a threat. He wants to be seen as somebody like Jamie. And I think he just like snapped in that game. He just like snapped. And then the whole thing with like just the perspective shifting on like Nate. What was it? What was the play called that he did?
False 9. Yeah,
the False 9. Like with the whole like, all right, so we're going with Nate's False 9, and like Ted saying that, like, great fucking job. Like, this is gonna work. Yeah, it's gonna be great. And Nate's like, you fucking son of a bitch. Why are you calling it Nate's False 9 when you know it's not gonna fucking work? And then I'm gonna be the one that they're all gonna blame. And it's like, where is this like just his total perspective of things is like so shifted. Yeah,
and he's like, we don't have the right freaking players to do it anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like, and again, like, I never played like really, like, I played obviously in high school, and I played like the tiniest bit of in college. And the tiniest, I mean like literally like the first 2 weeks of like the training camp type thing, and then I stopped playing. But if I was like a player and I heard like somebody who has never played say that, even though if they're like tactically sound, I'd be like, you never fucking played the games. How do you even know? you know?
Yeah.
Like, so if one of the players, like, if any of the players heard that, and then, you know, I think we started to see it was with that Colin, like, outburst at the end of the one episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where he's like,
that was terrible.
I'll ruin your life if you ever make me look stupid like that again or whatever. It's like, bro, chill out.
Yeah.
You know? But yeah, I'm interested to see what happens next season and how we kind of weave through Nate and Ted, because again, you only play each other, you know, a few times during the course of a season. You know, it's not like you're facing them every single week. And I'm kind of interested to see if they put like West Ham, because Nate's managing, if they put them like, you know, top 10 or if they're putting them lower in the table compared to Richmond,
because
like
they're a real team, right?
They're a real team. All these are real. Richmond's not a real team,
Yeah.
but you know, Manchester City's a real team.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I'm surprised that they're going with a real, like, they're bringing a real team into the story.
Right. I mean, it's everything is like the only real thing about it is the logo and the name, and that's about
true.
it.
Yeah.
Like none of the real players or anything. But, although actually they even used when they were talking about like the Manchester City like coach, that was Pep Guardiola is the real coach. Like that's actually him, but he's not like showing. They just use him by name. But yeah, I'm interested to see kind of like how they kind of balance those two stories. And again, this is you know, they said 3 seasons, so what happens at the end of the season? Like, you know, what happens at the end of the series? I know.
Do you think it ends on a downer?
No, I don't know. I don't know. Actually, maybe it does, because this season ended on a downer, even though they have another season.
Yeah. How'd you feel about like the time jumping at the end?
That was interesting.
Yeah. I thought we were gonna go all the way. One thing I think it might be is to be like, okay, when next season starts, because they jumped like 6 months later almost, right? Yeah. And do you think it was? So it was 2 days later, 3 weeks later, and then 6 months later. Is that we're just 6 months after the finale, or are we like 6 months, 3 weeks, and 2 days later? You know what I mean? Like, is that what it meant?
I have no idea.
Like, did the time go on top of each other?
Yeah. I see what you mean.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because we might be like 7 months out. I think, anyways, what I'm trying to say is like I think what they're kind of doing is kind of like what Morning Show did, so that next season they can just start and be current with the year that it actually is. Because right now they're still technically Ted Lasso is taking place in 2019 right now.
Right.
Because it was supposed to be, or 2020, because it was supposed to be back then. Do you think season 3 might address the coronavirus?
No.
Because people,
where
I
are
was
they?
listening to this
Anyway,
podcast.
where are they in the? Like, what year are they in? I don't even know.
In the show, 2020.
Oh, they are.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I was listening to this podcast that was like, somebody asked if some show was going to address it or like write it into the show, and they were like, why would they not? But then I was like, but I feel like people, like, they don't write in stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, they're not like NCIS isn't, you know, not to use a kind of dark subject, but like NCIS wasn't like, you know, oh, after what happened at the Capitol on January 6th. You know what I mean? Like, they don't really reference like current events, but I get that like COVID is kind of bigger than a current event. Right. It's kind of like the event of the century. But like, yeah, I don't know, like, because obviously Morning Show is dealing with it, which, you know, makes sense because that's heavily, that whole show's about current events. But I feel like shows that don't really need to address it, I feel like they might not. But I guess we'll have to wait and find out. Yeah. But all right, what would you give season rating out of 5?
Probably 4.
4 out of 5. And do you think this season was better or worse than the first?
It's probably not as good, but I still think they're pretty close. Like, I don't think, you know, because there's, again, the 2 episodes that stick out to me, even though I liked it, the Christmas episode and the Coach Beard episode.
Yeah. It's kind of like, this is like the Stranger Things season 2. It's like, oh, there's that one weird episode where they kind of try to do something different, but like then it just goes right back to the regular thing. Right. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like kind of like that. Yeah. I'm going to go the exact same. I'm going to say 4 out of 5, and I'm going to say I think the first season ever so slightly edges it out. Or is she saying she gives it a 5?
Yes, that's what that says. 5.
Wow. Oh, she said none of the soap operas talk about COVID. So there you go.
Oh, okay.
That I'm surprised about, but then again, it's like those like take those. I always think it's so baffling that soap operas air every day. Like that's crazy. You have 5 new episodes a week.
That is a lot. Yeah.
Like Jesus. But yeah, so that was our thoughts on Ted Lasso season 2. Check it out on Apple TV Plus. I'm sure we'll do the same kind of breakdown and review when Morning Show wraps up for this season. I'll say quickly, I've been enjoying it. I think it's gone a little twisty and turny where I didn't think it was going to. I gotta see how I feel about some things that are going on in the morning show right now. But I'll say in terms of the quality, like what I want to see out of the story aside, in terms of the quality, it's definitely good. You know, it's still a great show. We were joking though that like it's like every episode seems to end with like a pop song and like a montage of like wide shots of all the different characters. Like that's how every episode ends basically. But yeah, so you want to move on to the
No Time to Die?
Main topic?
In general?
Yeah.
All right, so what do you want to talk about first about it? No Time to Die, rankings.
Let's talk about what the people maybe came here to do. It's still at 4 of 5. It looks like it's going back between 4 and 5. So thank you guys so much for watching and sticking with us. Let's go with the title first. Is Daniel Craig the best James Bond of all time? Now, I'm not one to speak on this because TJ has seen all the movies, all that. He's gotten very into it. As we'll talk about right now, I really have no connection to this other than like I obviously know most things about it and stuff, but I had only seen basically bits and pieces of Skyfall.
Right. Yeah.
And that was my biggest extent of everything. I've never seen anyone else besides Craig. So what do you think? And then we also have some viewers submitted.
Okay. So for me, my favorite is Sean Connery. But I think Daniel Craig is definitely top 3. Maybe 2, probably.
Really?
I don't know what it is. Like, I've always just really liked Sean Connery, the way he kind of carries himself in the role. It is, he was just the OG too. And his movies are usually, most of them are pretty good. I'm not a fan of Diamonds, I believe.
Diamonds Are Forever.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that one. And there's like another one that I'm not really that much of a fan of. But yeah, for me, it would probably go like top 3, maybe Sean Connery, Daniel Craig, and maybe Roger Moore. Either Roger Moore or Pierce.
As your third?
Yeah. But yeah, I really like Daniel Craig's Bond. He just like every single movie he's in, he just kind of embodies the character how I want him to be embodied. And I want him to have like, and I've heard, I want the character to have like some emotion. Like I don't want him to be like, he can't have feelings, which I think that's kind of ridiculous.
Wait, are you saying that about the character overall or Craig's?
Well, that's what Daniel Craig has. I feel like that the others kind of don't.
I thought you were going the other way, and I was going to be like, really?
No, Sean Connery's like, not that he doesn't have feelings, but it's just kind of like he never really. It's just like he has one woman a movie, basically. You know what I mean? Like it's not carrying over, and this is something they did with the Craig Bonds, where they try to carry an overarching kind of thing over. And and I told you, like, I just want the guy to have something nice for once. And multiple times, they always take it away from him. And it kind of annoys me. Yeah. And I told you, obviously, about, I think it's Her Majesty's Secret Service, where he gets married and she gets killed in a gun-by at the end of the movie, in a drive-by at the end of the movie. And I'm like, what? Why can't he just be married, have a happy life? And he's only in the one movie, George Lazenby. So it's not like it's carrying over. So just let him have, like, why does it matter? And again, it's not something that comes up later where, Daniel Craig's Bond says, Blofeld killed my wife one time. Yeah. It's like that never pops up. So why, I don't know if it's maybe just to make, and I don't know if it's the whole, because obviously from when that movie came out to now, we've progressed a lot in the whole toxic masculinity type thing. So maybe that has something to do with it. Maybe it's just the era it came out in. But,
Michelle in the chat says Roger Moore.
He has a little more humor to him, so it's the total. Yeah, Roger Moore's were just so campy for me. I feel like
that's the problem.
Like,
He's got the humor, but he doesn't the edge.
What's his name? Sergeant T. Culpepper or whatever. He's in two of them. He's like this racist like sheriff, I think.
Oh
something.
Yeah, you were telling me about that. Like
it makes no sense. For me, the worst of his one film, View to a Kill, is like the worst Bond movie.
That's the very last one, right?
I think it might be.
Yeah, I think that's like
I hated
well
that
known
one.
as
that one was so like campy. And
that was
goofy,
when people were like, okay, he's done. Like he's aged out of it. 1 and 2, these movies are
like and all those movies I've only seen once, so I'd have to go back and kind of watch all of them again to kind of get a clear consensus. But for me, it's Sean Connery 1, Daniel Craig 2, and then Pierce or Roger 3. I think I lean more towards Pierce Brosnan, but I
you're
like
a big Pierce Brosnan
so
fan
I'm probably
in general.
A little biased.
Black Adam, number 1 most anticipated. Pierce Brosnan becoming a superhero.
Yeah.
You know what do you think? Also, can I just say on that note, first of all, Pierce Brosnan, great actor. Second of all, Dr. Fate, great character. Props to like Marvel and DC for having for not just making all the superheroes like 20-year-olds, which for some reason, like I'm thinking of like the Fantastic Four movies and some of the X-Men movies and stuff like that. With the X-Men, I can understand a little bit more because they're supposed to be students, but like also that's like something that annoys me with like the CW shows is that like they all look like they're like 19. Like I love that like Tony was like 50 when Endgame happened, or that like this Dr. Fate with Pierce playing him, he's gonna be like 60 years old, like a 60-year-old superhero. Same thing with like Benedict Cumberbatch, Chadwick Boseman, like they're all in like their mid 40s. I just like that. And then they also have younger people too, but like I just hate when they make all superheroes like the same age. Like it's like what, that doesn't even make sense. But yeah, I'm super excited to see Pierce Brosnan actually in that. Maybe do you think we're gonna get a Black Adam trailer at DC Fandom?
Oh, maybe.
Yeah,
I would not be surprised.
Yeah, because I think it's done. It's done filming.
Oh, damn. Yeah, that was fast.
Let's see. Oh, that's another bit of news. Sorry, just to break this up real quick. Mando season 3 officially. I think it's in. I think Giancarlo Esposito said it's in its like 3rd or 4th week of filming.
Oh, okay.
So it's like they didn't announce it officially or anything, but so that's very cool. But yeah, so my thing on that is, I think, like I said, I haven't seen any of the other movies or anything, but I don't know. I just feel like, because obviously I haven't seen the movies, but I watch movie videos all day, every day. So like I've seen a ton of clips, like hours put together of Sean Connery's, Roger Moore's, I think I've probably seen the most of Pierce Brosnan stuff, but like out of what I've seen, I just feel like, kind of going off of what Michelle said, with Roger Moore having the humor, yes, but it's too much humor. Like Sean Connery had that edge of like, oh, like it's James Bond, like womanizer, like, gets the job done, that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? With a little bit of the humor. But I feel like they both went too far the other direction. And then Pierce, I think, would have been a good one. Shout out Timothy Dalton. Also, I don't think those two words.
He doesn't get enough.
He doesn't. I feel like those words. I feel like we haven't even said those two words yet. But again, not his fault really. Only 2 movies. Kind of got screwed over by the economy and kind of where the franchise was at that time. But Pierce, I think, had the ability to. If Pierce had the same writing and the same kind of budgets and stuff like that they were doing with the Daniel Craig movies, I feel like he would have been way more successful. Like if they had kept the quality of GoldenEye throughout all of them, and you didn't end up with the car breaking into a surf paraglider or whatever the hell, and he's surfing with the icebergs or whatever. Like that somebody a video I watched like an hour and a half video on just the franchise as a whole, and they basically said like before the Craig movie started, like the franchise was just in like a death spiral. It was just down and down, and like it was just rapidly falling apart. And so yeah, I mean, I think he's the only one I've seen, and yes, I just started watching it, but I've seen I've seen basically all of them now in the past few days, and I don't know, I don't see me liking any of them more than I like Daniel Craig in the role, because I think Craig, he's like a brooding guy. He's the first Bond to me that you believe can actually beat somebody up.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like even though he is so much smaller, there were times I believed that he was taking Batista down. You know what I mean? Like in Spectre, like I was like, okay. I was like, or same thing, like just boom, right at the start, first 10 minutes of Casino Royale, when he's running with the parkour guy, and the parkour guy swings on the bar and leaps through the thing, and then James Bond just runs through the wall. He just tanks the wall, and I was like, oh my God. Like, I just love that aspect. And then as his films progressed, he still, I think, was a good combination in Casino Royale, but he only got more nuanced. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? He got funnier. He got more charming throughout it. Like that kind of stuff. So I just really like what they did with him. So for me, even though he's the only one that I've actually seen all of his movies, I'd say Daniel Craig. I think he's going to be hard to beat. And I think that goes for not just the people who came before, but the people who come after. Right. Not only because of how the franchise is set up under Daniel Craig, because Daniel Craig was the first one that, like you said, he's a self-contained story. I don't know where they go from here. And I don't know how. And I don't know if they should go from here. You know what I mean? How do you top what they just did with a 5-movie arc, that kind of thing, going off on, a pretty high note for the character.
I'd say.
But then you get the James Bond will return, and it's like for the first time, it's like people are saying like, but should he? But should he?
They make money.
And will it be Idris Elba? It will not.
So let's rank them, I guess.
All right.
So the five, right?
Yeah.
So
you just want to do one apiece?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
All right.
Do you want to go first, or you want me to go first?
I'll go first.
Now, full disclosure, Sean has not seen No Time to Die all the way through, but he's seen many bits and pieces where I'm pretty sure he just probably has seen the whole thing at this point, maybe.
Yeah, I've seen.
It's a long movie. So.
I've seen like, even though I probably shouldn't have, I've seen like in one sitting, or in one standing of a side view of the theater. It was I don't know if you saw me, but the show that you were at.
I saw it.
Yeah, I was like, I just watched like the last 45 minutes of the movie. And then I've seen like I think I've seen like the first hour and then a whole bunch in between, because I've just basically, anytime I've had free time, I've just been going and watching this because I've been watching the other ones. But yeah, the other ones I have seen fully all the way through. Casino Royale I watched twice in this past week, which I'm sure we'll get into.
Yeah.
Do you want to hit me first with your 5, or should I go first?
I'll go first.
Okay.
Do you want me to start at 5 or 1?
Start at 5.
Okay, so 5 I had Quantum of Solace.
All right. I'll do my 5. I had Casino Royale.
Yeah, exactly.
No, my 5 I had Spectre as my 5.
Okay. Spectre was my 4.
Okay. I would say, Quantum would be my 4.
Okay. And then 3 I had No Time to Die.
Okay. 3 I had Skyfall. 3 I put Skyfall.
2 I had Skyfall.
2 I had No Time to Die.
Okay, then 1 Casino Royale.
Yeah.
I think Casino Royale is definitely it was obviously kind of the rejuvenation of the franchise.
Mm-hmm.
Mads is great in it. I just love the whole poker kind of dynamic. Them kind of he's trying to outsmart him, and they go back and forth multiple times during the movie. Again, he has a love interest that it's
ripped away from him.
She does double cross him. Don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm. But it was out of necessity.
Yeah, and that again, that is something that is carried over. No Time to Die spoiler. That's not really a spoiler, but that is something that is carried over into No Time to Die. Vesper is mentioned, I think, once or twice.
Yeah.
And even spoiler for Casino Royale came out 10, 15 years ago, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But he goes to her grave at one point, and it's still like you're still like, oh yeah, it's really cool to kind of be
still
like,
the same guy,
still the same Bond,
Mm-hmm.
And that's something I like. Like I like that he loved her
Mm-hmm.
and that he still thinks about her.
Yeah.
Even, obviously we have Lisa doing this one,
Mm-hmm.
and she was Inspector as well, and her kind of their relationship is the focal point of No Time to Die.
Yeah.
But I just like that he has some sort of emotion. Like he's not just like this like cold stone killer who just puts a bullet in your head, has sex with this
Mm-hmm.
one woman, and then just kind of leaves her in the next
Yeah.
movie. Because a lot of the movies in the old days ended with them having
Mm-hmm.
sex somewhere.
And they did that.
That's
and they
like-
did that like kind of in his middle movies. Like
Yeah.
Skyfall, not real. Well, maybe not actually. Really, just Quantum was the one where it was just kind of like. And granted, it was right after what happened with Vesper. You know what I mean? So it's like that was really the only one where he kind of like was womanizing all over the place and just kind of like hooked up with like a random girl and then kind of moved on after that. But other than that, because then in Skyfall there really wasn't anybody, right? Was there? Well, there was the girl who worked for Silva in the beginning of the movie. Remember that then they had him, like test your precision.
I
or
do
whatever.
recall.
But really, other than that,
yes, on the island.
Yes, exactly. Yep. Yeah, and she's like tied up with the shot glass on her head.
Yeah.
But other than that, really, I think that was more. One thing I will say that I really liked about Skyfall. And Skyfall being my what did I say? It's my 3. Yeah. Skyfall being my 3. It doesn't mean I don't like it. It's really good. It's just I don't know. I think it's kind of one of those movies that like when you're watching it, you're like, oh yeah, but then it's like you think about stuff afterwards, and you're like, well, that doesn't really make a lot of sense. Yeah. Like I was like, it just kind of like it's a really fun roller coaster, but you're like, oh, my back really hurts. You know what I mean? Like I was like thinking about that. I was like, so Silva's plan was to get Bond to come to the island, go on this whole walk, have the helicopters come in, take him back to MI6 so that then he could hack MI6 and then he would break out of MI6, steal a police uniform, go into a police car, go to where M's hearing is, and just like shoot like 4 or 5 people and then drive away. Yeah. What was the plan? Yeah. You did more damage when you blew up the thing.
You can have the same argument with Rami Malek, where it's like,
like
I said to you after when I saw you outside the theater, I was like, I didn't really understand what his character was going for.
to me, honestly, I think Le Chiffre was still the best one.
Oh no, yeah,
I think he's, which is crazy because going back, like, I don't
even remember what his motivation was.
Well, he was
just working for Spectre, right?
Well, yeah, revealed, he's working for Spectre, but his thing was Spectre was gonna, Quantum / Spectre back then, whatever you want to call it. Mr. White was going to have him killed if he didn't if he didn't produce the money. Remember, because he bet against the plane stock because they were launching that plane, but he was gonna blow up the launch,
right?
And then their stock was gonna tank and stuff. But Bond stopped it, so he was out $101 million.
Gotcha.
So he had to make the money up just as much as Bond did.
Right.
Which was a really good motivation. It was like your motivation is the same as the hero's. Like it's like, but you're an asshole, so it's like it's easy to know who to root for. And not to make fun of your disability or anything, but I mean you're the only one here with a bleeding eye socket that's kind of creeping everybody out.
Yeah.
Like. But I love that line where he's like talking to in the first game that we see him playing, and he's like, not to worry. He's like, weeping blood is merely a deformation of the tear duct, nothing sinister. He's like, it's just like to fuck with him.
Yeah.
But I was really surprised at how much Mads Mikkelsen did with what I felt was not that much screen time. He other than the poker game, obviously, he has a lot of screen time in that. But like. He really doesn't have that much screen time in the movie. Really, a lot of the villains don't have a lot of screen time, which is very interesting. I think it's just because there's so many machinations and, especially after Skyfall, like starting with Skyfall, you gotta get Q in there. Q's gotta have good moments. M's gotta have good moments. Tanner's gotta have some good moments. Moneypenny's gotta have good moments. You know what I mean? Like, so you kind of gotta balance all this stuff, and then I feel like the villains kind of get thrust to the side almost.
Yeah.
And I feel like that would be one of my big criticisms of the Craig era overall. Is, I feel like the villains just aren't really that strong in a lot of them.
Yeah.
Except for like Lashif in Casino Royale. And like even Blofeld, like, Christoph Waltz, like that's Christoph Waltz. Like he should be like knocking it out of the park and stuff, and instead it's like, oh, but James, it is I. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's basically what it, you know what I mean? Like, that's basically what it was. It was like, oh, but what you don't realize, Mr. Bond, is, I'm your half brother, or your foster brother or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, but now I'm gonna scoop your brain out so you won't know who anybody is. And it's like, but then like one big explosion later and he's fine. Like, how did that? You just drilled his brain. How did it not?
You're talking about Spectre?
Yeah, like how did you? He was gonna drill his brain to like so that he wouldn't recognize anybody and wouldn't have memory. He did that, but then the explosion happened, and then he was just like fine.
Who knows?
I don't even know.
So let's talk about No Time. Well, let's talk about No Time to Die, and then we'll get out of here. But so No Time to Die, I liked it.
It's pretty good.
Fair amount. There was a few things where I was just like. Him. Spoiler for No Time to Die.
Yeah, major
spoilers.
spoilers. So, I'll say this: we've talked enough about it. You've gotten our thoughts on No Time to Die. I would say, if you don't want any spoilers, we'll probably just end the show with this. So thank you for joining us on this. If you don't want any spoilers for No Time to Die,
just tune out.
Tune out now. We'll catch you next week.
Watch the rest.
Yeah.
So when they don't end up at the end together. I'm just like
that's one way to put it.
We could just
when he blows up.
We could. They could. You could write it where he gets off the fucking island.
Well, I was thinking even in like, oh yeah, I mean yeah, you can just write it however you want.
Here's the thing. Like now I'm more thinking about it. He's standing there taking the time to call Lea Seydoux' character. Meanwhile, he could be jumping off the edge of the island into the water.
And even with the
sliding down the rocks, getting to the beach,
Even with the poison, though.
I mean, granted, that was a thing, yes.
But
that was true.
But with the poison, all I've been thinking about is like, okay, yes, you're poisoned. You can't touch anybody for the rest of your life. You're a walking coronavirus.
Which, okay, again, I'll have to come back to you because that doesn't really make much sense to me because aren't the nanobots doesn't somebody have to control them? Am I correct?
I think so.
So
I think it's
touching her. How does that kill her if nobody directs them to kill her?
I think maybe one of the things is like you don't know.
I could be wrong, but
I think that's the impression I got too. But maybe it's one of those things where it's like, well, him and Q really have no way of knowing if there isn't somebody out there that can still do it.
I guess, yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's one of those things where it could happen at any moment, and you don't want to just spread it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That is fair,
Because think about it. If they're like, oh, everybody's fine, and then everybody just goes about their day, and everybody gets it, and then one person, boop.
Yeah.
Then everybody's gone. You know what I mean? But you're James Bond. Your life is not orthodox. Live in a bubble. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, at least you still get a life and you get to see your daughter, again, spoilers. Like, you get to see your daughter grow up and, like...
That didn't make sense to me the way they handled it where she lied to him.
Yeah.
She goes, it's not yours. Like, it's not your kid. And then Rami Malek's character takes her and then they just, like, kind of say it in passing. That, like, no, that is your kid. Mm-hmm. It's like...
What did you think about the last line?
What was the last line?
With the like, I'm going to tell you a story about a man. His name was Bond. James Bond.
I mean...
And then it was like...
yeah, I don't know.
I liked how the screen shrunk. Because it was like... I actually really liked that. I really liked that as a last shot. That they're going through the tunnel and the image just shrinks. Because it's like we're saying goodbye to this universe. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's
yeah.
it. We're saying goodbye, and then it shrinks all the way down, and then it just fades to black. And I was like, that was, in terms of the actual last shot, like, that's awesome. In terms of that line, come on. You really?
Right.
Like, that's the best you could come up with. I'm going to tell you a story about a man. His name was Bond, James Bond. And then, like, the sunset goes. And it's like,
I didn't think... So, have you seen the very beginning?
Yeah.
So, I personally did not think the age thing made a lot of sense. Because Rami Malek's character looks the same in the beginning. And then they jump, like... They have to jump years. Because it's Leah Seydoux.
Yeah.
So, how does Rami Malek still look so young? Like, that, it just doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. I thought it would have been better. I personally thought they were going to say Leah Seydoux's dad was Blofeld, which I thought would work better. She doesn't want to kill her own dad.
Oh, like instead of Mr. White, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not even who I didn't. I'll be honest. Like, the last time I saw
Mr. White
those movies was
a long
2
time
years ago. You know?
Yeah.
I didn't even put that together. But I thought that would have worked better where, you know, they go into the prison together. He'll only talk to Leah Seydoux's character.
Yeah.
He doesn't, she doesn't want to kill her dad, passes it off to James. James does it. He has no idea. You know, I thought that maybe that would have, that's what I thought. I thought there was going to be the reveal that, oh my God, Blofeld's her dad or something, you know, because he says that she knows, you know, everything. So I thought maybe that's how it worked. And I was like, oh, maybe Blofeld, maybe has a nicer house than that. You know, something like that. But, I thought they could have gone that direction. And again, like I don't even remember him as a character. A gripe I've seen is that Ana de Armas is in it for 2 minutes. So I went to the bathroom during that fight.
You missed all of her scenes?
No, not all of it. I saw her, but I
missed
the last, like, when they get on the plane.
Oh, okay.
To, like, the middle of that fight.
Yeah.
I missed. So I, like, came back and I was like, I asked my dad, I was like, did she die? And he's like, no. So I don't know what happened to her. Maybe she was just like...
It's basically like they just like part ways, and he's like, it was lovely. What does he say? He's like, that was something I watched that like 20-minute middle chunk. Like he was like, oh, it was lovely to meet your acquaintance or something. Like, you know, like we should do this more often. One of those things. It just felt like Daniel Craig and Ana de Armas.
She was funny because when she brings him out of the cellar and he's like, oh, don't you think we should get, you know, acquainted first or something? She's like, that's not what this is. I'm just giving you the suit. I thought that was funny. I like Jeffrey Wright as Felix. I thought he was great. He was funny.
Yeah. He's so good.
That blonde shithead guy. I don't know who that was.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I more I think about it, I was like, what was his? Did he need to be there? I'm like thinking, and I feel like he was there for a reason, but I don't remember what it was. Because he's like, you know, he's only in it for 5-10 minutes maybe. But yeah, but I just think my big thing is like, I just wish like the character could end on like a nice note, you know? Like again, all the other movies are like him having sex at the end, but he could have a family, like he has a kid already. You know, he could start this family, actually fully retire, and not have to go back into this business. But no, and again, I did like that he died. I thought that was a good kind of closure to the whole thing. Yeah. But it's just like
as dark as this sounds, like have the villain like kill his family, then have him do the noble sacrifice.
Maybe, yeah.
Don't be don't be like, oh, sorry, he killed the villain and he won, but he doesn't get his happy ending. Like have it be like the villain took his happy ending away. Like which I guess kind of he did because he poisoned him with the thing. But like
which yes, that is very true.
It didn't feel very fine. I don't think it conveyed how final. Yes, we've been building up this like poison thing, and like once you get it on you, there's no way you can get it off. Like Q says, you know what I mean? Like once it's out, there is literally nothing that we can do. What does he say? He was like, it's
like nanobot.
Yeah. Well, he says something like it's forever or something. Like that. Yeah. Like it's eternal. And I was like, damn. But, like, other than that, really, I don't feel like they conveyed enough, like, how final it was. Like, I feel like you didn't really feel the stakes of the poison. Like, you would have felt it if, like, he killed Madeline or something, you know what I mean? Something like that. So I think it just felt a little like, bro, they're literally sitting right there. Like, they're one island over. Like, you can't just get there.
You've gotten out of worse.
Like, basically. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, exactly. Totally.
Yeah.
And like, but we're talking about like an in-universe thing of like, no, bro, just jump off the island and like swim or something.
Yeah.
But like what you said, out of universe, they could have just written it that he lived. Like they could have just written it that he actually got a happy ending. Like,
and again,
and I think it would have worked.
But he just doesn't get it with the woman he loves that he wants to maybe start a family with. Like again, even Vesper before, obviously, okay, she double crossed him. That like works for me. But and she died, which again you probably could have seen coming because again she double crossed him, so you know she's probably not gonna live. But like with this, it really seemed like throughout the whole movie I was like, oh, they're gonna end this and they're gonna be together and they'll be fine. And that's not what happened. I was just like that like just sucks to me. Like I hate that. I don't want the character to just be this like cold-blooded like, and again I've never read the books, so like I know it, I'm pretty sure the character differs in some way, shape, or form from the books, but like I just wish that he just didn't have to be this like, and he's not like Daniel Craig's Bond is more than other ones, but he's like I want him to be like this more emotional kind of cerebral character, you know, and not just be like you know, just like,
well, James Bond should not be such a sad sack, John. That I watched. Oh yeah, I did. Right after you told me.
You know what I was talking about though, right? Where he's just kind of like, it's almost like he wants him to not be as emotional as, or like down on his luck as. I didn't think he was down on his luck in this movie. I just want him to have some emotion and some feelings for other people.
The one thing that like I will agree with and I will say is something I love the fact that it's all one narrative, but I feel like they pulled it off, but I feel like kind of like with the sequel trilogy, it felt like there was that was not the plan, and then the writer's strike happened, and because that's why really it became a connected universe, or I mean it's always a connected universe because it's the same characters, but a connected narrative was because the writer's strike happened when they were going to do Quantum of Solace. So they were like, we don't have a story. Let's just make it a sequel to that to like just
and
get
for me,
movie,
Quantum
basically.
of Solace is the worst because it's very much a bridge from Casino Royale to Skyfall, in my opinion.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I just never thought, again, the villain in that movie I thought sucked too.
Yeah, but. and I feel like you mean the villain in Quantum?
Yeah.
Like Dominic Green, right?
Yeah.
With the
Yeah, I thought he was awful.
Mr. Bond, I don't. Oh my god! I will say there was like one scene where I genuinely believed his like menace, which was when he was talking to like the general, and he was like, "Why do you think I'm talking to you? Your predecessor didn't want to get on board with this. That's why you're here." Like, and he was just so matter of fact about it. Like he was like, "Your predecessor didn't get on board with this. That's why you're here. If you don't get on board with this, I'm going to be talking to somebody else tomorrow." Like, and that was the only place basically where I was like, oh, okay, this guy, I could see where this guy could genuinely scare people, and you know what I mean? But yeah, that movie is not the best.
Last thing I want to touch on, No Time to Die, and then maybe wrap it up, or we've been going for a while. Is Lashana Lynch. I thought she was really good.
Great, yeah, she was very good.
I know there was a whole thing.
Speaking
when
of keeping your actual accent.
Well, people were, the whole thing was like, oh, are they turning James Bond into a woman, or like what's that whole thing? And I did like that it was kind of just like, I know the number is tied to James Bond, but like it is really just kind of a number. Yeah, like exactly. And I thought it was kind of funny how they played into that, where he comes back for the first time and everybody goes, "Hi, 007." Yeah, I was like, oh, that's funny. But yeah, I thought she was really good in it, and she had her fighting scenes were great. Ana de Armas also had great.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, there was that. Did you see the video of her training for it that was going around today? Oh no. It was like she was like training with like the stunt people, and she was like, "Hey, I'm Ana de Armas on the set of No Time to Die, like just doing some of my stuff." And then one of the stunt guys goes up and is like, "Anna, we really have to get going." And she like she goes, "Don't bother me when I'm doing a TikTok or something." She said something like that, or "Don't bother me when I'm training" or something.
All I'm gonna say is, come on, Ben, what are you doing? Oh, granted, he got with JLo, so I guess like win-win. I don't know.
I don't know. according to Casey, she's trash. But yeah, I mean, I think that'll do it. Like, go if you haven't watched any of them, do yourself a favor, watch a James Bond movie. I would say, if you're ranking not just the actual actor or the characterization, I would say Daniel Craig's Bond has without a doubt the best
consistent movies.
Consistent movies. Yeah, because it's basically.
I think Sean Connery might be a close, either might be first or close second.
Yeah, because like Roger Moore, like he has a lot of good ones, but he also has a lot of like stinkers, and then some really bad ones. Like, and then like Timothy Dalton, like he has two that were.
I know people love. I think it's Living Daylights.
Oh yeah,
or License to Kill. It's one of them.
Yeah.
Majesty's Secret Service is okay.
Mm-hmm.
Pierce Brosnan has Goldeneye, which I liked, but and I'm saying that like a lot of people love that one. But I think it's Tomorrow Never Dies. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
That one. Whichever one is with
Halle Berry?
No. Yeah, with Halle Berry, and I don't know if that's the same one. I don't know if Christopher Walken is in that one or if he's in
I can't remember.
That one I didn't like with him either. Mm-hmm. But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So go check him out. Yeah, I think that'll do it. Thank you guys so much again for joining us. Gee Willikers, we're still at 5 people. So that's pretty cool. Thank you guys so much. Yeah, I think that'll do it for this installment, episode 58 of Planet Film Live. Thanks so much for joining us. Like we said, we have 2 big shows, 2 set in stone shows that we know what the topic is going to be coming up. Let us know on Twitter. Tweet at us at @theofficialpfn, or sound off in the comments down below if you think you know what one of them might be. That being said, I've been one of your hosts, Sean Monk. You can follow me at the Sean Monk. Yeah, at the Sean Monk. I changed it recently. And make sure you're following us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at @theofficialpfn. On Instagram Reels and on TikTok, we are posting all the time. We're posting stuff. If you ever want to let your opinion be known, you can go over to the Instagram or over to the TikTok and comment down there.
Oh, you didn't even read the...
Oh. All right, well, I'll say this really quick. We'll end out here. Like I had it pulled up right there. So we have JJ's Girl 04 saying Roger Moore is my favorite. Dominic Tosh 2 saying yes, Daniel Craig is my favorite. _ Thomas 190, yes, Craig is the best.
Jeez.
Banjo Brothers 1749 just gave a thumbs up. Let's see here. Also, by the way, shout out to you guys, or shout out to the algorithm, or shout out to somebody. But the Instagram Reels that we posted of it freaking blew up. It got like 1,300 views in like 25 minutes, which normally, if one of our Instagram Reels really pops off, it usually gets that in like a day if it blows up. But that happened so fast. And this one we have Brandope saying Bronson for life. So he's saying Pierce Brosnan there. And then somebody Giovanni _ 2417. Okay, well, that's a spoiler. I mean, but I guess we're in spoilers already. He said yes, but he's not anymore because he died.
Yeah.
And I think we'll end it on that. But yeah, that'll do it for me. So remember, follow us on those platforms. Yeah.
That was your other TJ Cornwell. Don't forget to follow. Subscribe, comment, like. Let us know your favorite James Bond under this video. Check out our other videos on the channel. And I don't think I said it while we were on air, but Guardians of the Galaxy game is coming out in a week or 2. I will be streaming that. Like, that is a game that I will definitely be streaming, because I know we've really not streamed like a lick. We've streamed like twice, maybe.
Yeah.
So catch that whenever it comes out. And we'll see you next time.
Boom.